What's up, everybody? The trade deadline has come and gone, and I know a lot of people want to kind of jump off a cliff. It seems on Twitter. I thought it was a bit underwhelming, but honestly, the prices were seemingly astronomical, and it was a seller's market. So, and the realities are what they are. I mean, we don't have Acuna, we don't have Strider, Michael Harris. I mean, Michael Harris II is supposed to eligible to come off August 14th. Jorge Soler will definitely help in getting the band back together of proportions. You've got, so let's say, okay, so Soler's not playing tonight, but he'll play tomorrow and the rest of the season. You got, 11.2 walk rate percent, and that's higher than anyone on the team. Put him in the leadoff spot. Austin Riley 2, Marcell Ozuna 3, Matt Olson 4, Sean Murphy, Travis d'Arnaud 5. I mean, it's better. And then hopefully, I was a little surprised that we didn't address the middle infield. But I mean, Ozzy's tentatively coming back early September. And the reality is, if we don't have Ozzy and Matt become Ozzy and Matt, I don't think it matters that much. I mean, that much. Luckily, though, I feel like with the emergence of Grant Holmes and AJ Smith-Shawver and Ian Anderson getting their pitch counts up, this might be the last time we have to do the Bryce Elder route. So I understand that it's underwhelming, and with taking on the Soler contract of 3 years, 42, and I believe 13 this year, next year, in 2026, I thought we would do more. But again, the prices were insane, and the Marlins did amazing as the ultimate seller. I think the Orioles overpaid for a lot, but I think they got better. But as for the Braves, and adding Luke Jackson is not a bad thing either. He's been pitching a lot better lately. We know what he is. He's a better bridge option than than Jesse Chavez, who has definitely struggled lately. I'm not gonna jump off guys. Matt Olson's had his worst year for a while. Austin Riley's been better, but not great. Our guys that we have to start playing to their potential for us to do anything. And adding the Soler contract, that's why it surprised me a little bit that we didn't add more. But again, we're more of an off-season team anyway, and where we are, we're going to be fighting tooth and nail for the wild card. And we did stay under the third tier luxury tax despite the reports, and we're going to, and there's a lot of money coming off the books next year. But this year, I'm really excited. The ad of Jorge Soler, we obviously know he's a folk hero for 2021. Didn't give up a lot. Obviously, sad about Tyler Matzik for sure. But it just didn't work out for him injury-wise. And going to an organization like San Francisco, which is a pitcher's haven, hopefully he can figure it out again. But honestly, he might have sacrificed his entire arm for the 2021 World Series. And obviously, we're all very, very grateful for that. And 17th ranked prospect infielder. No, I don't think the Marlins have any players left, but they did a hell of a job as a seller, and that's why I really wanted like a Brandon Lau or Rengifo or something like that. But if you really think, I mean, Ozzy's coming back, and Whit Merrifield, hopefully he can glue his finger back on, and maybe he can definitely stabilize it more than Nacho Alvarez. But the reality of where we sit right now, I'm not gonna jump off the cliff. Like most of the people, everybody's freaking out that we didn't do more, but then those are the people that wanted us to sell and get rid of pieces. But with Ronaldo Lopez being okay and Max Fried projected to come back Friday or off the IL on Friday, then you can Grant Holmes, you can use him as your spot starter if you want, or like I said earlier, Ian Anderson and AJ Smith-Shawver have been pushing towards 80, 85 pitches. So this might be the last start that we have to see Bryce Elder. But this feels like we've got to have our all-stars play like all-stars. And they haven't. I think Snitker's got to be better when we have leads, even if they're one-run leads, to be aggressive to get wins, because it's going to be a dogfight down the stretch. As much as I love Jesse Chavez, he's kind of fallen off the map. And I think the addition of Luke Jackson, yes, he's Adventures of Luke Jackson. We all know that, but he has a little bit more margin for error with his stuff and velocity. Plus, given the price of relievers, taking a flyer on Luke Jackson, who's had a 2.92 ERA in his recent last 2 weeks, I think that's actually a really nice get. And obviously, the Soler, I love Soler, and it definitely helps the on-base percentage this year to at least give us more competitive innings, hopefully, where we're giving ourselves more chances, because last night we had three solo shots and a Eddie Rosario single. That was it. So hopefully Soler's vision and play discipline and walk rate will help that considerably. And then obviously, like with having Soler under control for the next few years, what do you do with Marcell Ozuna? Because theoretically you've got to pick up his option based on this last year and a half or so since last May. It feels like you have to. But then Ronald's coming off his second ACL, so do you put, I mean, that's basically 3 DHs. But Soler has played the outfield positions, the corner outfield positions for us. Obviously hasn't played outfield since, I believe, 2022. So that's a little iffy. But if we get back to the offense where you score 9, some of the defensive lapses and different things could be okay, or you could cover that up if the offense does what the offense is supposed to do, or what somewhat we expected. I'm not saying that it was going to be historically good like last year. Would that have been fantastic? Yeah. But the drastic fall off of basically all of our all-stars except obviously Marcel continued what he did at the end of last year and continued that through this year. It's been remarkable for him, but just the nosedive that Matt and Austin have taken, and then the injuries. Ronald wasn't playing very well for his standards before he got hurt. So there's a lot of things that go into factor into a lot of things. So I'm not like completely jumping off a cliff. Would I have liked to add more, especially in the middle infield help? For sure, but it's not my. We don't know the conversations. We don't know what was being discussed, and I just, Adam's been playing good against lefties, so you got that, and it's not the greatest thing, but this year is kind of cursed anyway. So, or it feels cursed, but I know it's not. And we're still gonna fight tooth and nail. And again, the realities are the realities that the injuries are really, to say that we are still in a dogfight for one of the wild cards. It's kind of a miracle given the so much of the struggles of our offense and just finding relatively consistent stuff with that. To be honest, it's painful, but like I said, the reality is where we are, and we're gonna see. And can we muster that 2021 magic? I don't know, but you still do have Sale, Fried, Lopez, Swellenbach has been amazing. An amazing story this season. So I can't. The pitching is there. The bullpen is there. We just don't want to see like Alan Winans and Bryce Elder start a lot, but you understand that too. But going all in for a season like this, nah. And technically, we went all in 2021, but we still, yeah, you exactly. That's more succinct, Hudson, than I was actually being, I guess. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a surplus of minor league talent that maybe in the offseason you think about a Garrett Crochet with Max Fried probably coming off, and we got an outfielder, and we got a guy that we know, and he's got a really good on base percentage, and he's been crushing the ball lately. And the reality is Matt Olson, Austin Riley, they got to pick it up, and it doesn't. I would have liked to have done more, but I don't see it. Like the prices were insane. Like the Marlins traded Tanner Scott to the Orioles and got a starting outfielder and a starting second baseman. Like the prices are nuts, and there's a surplus of starting pitching. And what we did in the draft this year, we definitely can do some different things in the offseason. But right now, taking a flyer on Luke Jackson with the stuff that he has, again, it'll be adventurous, but 95-96 with that amazing slider. is a really good bridge option, more so than a Jesse Chavez. And I think the bullpen is in a better spot, and you got another year of control if you want to do that. Especially the potential of losing AJ Minter this offseason. Like, we're not privy to the conversations and everything, and we are lucky as all get out to be where we are right now, and it is what it is now. And I don't think there was the Brewers didn't do anything, and their best hitter is not going to come back for back injuries, and they're leading the division. Like, there's a lot of underwhelmingness from a lot of teams. Like, Angels didn't trade Kevin Pillar, didn't trade Rengifo, and didn't trade Taylor Ward. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. No. You can't. I get the thinking, but you can't. We weren't gonna sell because we're in the top wild card position, or we were last night. There was just no way we were gonna sell, and I get that, but we made it clear that we weren't gonna sell. So, and as much as, and if we if we were a piece away and it was gonna put us over the top, fantastic, but I just don't see it. I really don't. And I'm not trying to say I don't understand your thinking, because I do. But what would trading Max Fried do to that clubhouse right now? You virtually can't do that, given where we are. Like, we don't know if we're gonna lose him for nothing. And if we do, that's the price of business. And sometimes, because you're still in a playoff spot, you can't sell one of the top 5, top 3 left-handed pitchers in the game. You just can't, given the fact that you're in a top playoff position right now. I get your thinking once again. Like, I get it. I understand. We could have gotten a freaking mountain of players. I get it, but the psyche of the playoffs, the psyche of the clubhouse, the psyche of everything, and the reality was we weren't going to sell, and everybody knew it, and everybody's just overreacting to the fact that we knew we weren't going to sell, even though this year has been very, very, very annoying. Like, I get the thinking of selling and buying, but you sometimes one foot in, one foot out doesn't result well. And baseball, we knew what we were doing this year. Like, Max, I'm sure we've offered him a couple of contract extensions. He didn't take them, but you can't. But striking while the iron is hot hurts the team now, and the team psyche after you trade your ace for who knows what, and it might have worked out, but we put the cards on the table not to trade Max Fried once we are in a playoff spot, and that is where we are, and we just gotta swallow it. I get your thinking, I so do, but it wasn't gonna happen. Like, there's no other way to say it. It just wasn't. Like, if we were like barely over 500, and technically we're kind of still barely over 500, but as much as we could have struck with the iron shot, we weren't sellers. So it just wasn't going to happen. And given that there were only like 7 sellers total, there wasn't a lot of places to go to buy. And the reality of our injury situation is insane. And we know that. So well, I don't know that the Dodgers have any money left to spend, but pretty likely. But again, I'm not, and like I said, I'm not saying your thinking is wrong, but once the Braves said we were buyers, there was no way we were going to trade one of our best pitchers and one of the best pitchers in the game. That's just the reality. And selling and buying, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, usually backfires. So that's just my thought. 1 foot in, 1 foot out never works. And the reality is our pitching staff has been phenomenal. We just need our offense to pick it up and just see if we can get hot again. Like, I don't know what else there is to say. I know that the Marlins are big winners. I'm skeptical on the Orioles, even though I like some of the things they did, but I think they overpaid for a lot. Look, I totally get it, but you've got Sale next year, you've got Ronaldo Lopez, you've got Spencer Schwellenbach. Spencer Strider's going to come back. We'll see how he is, but it's just how baseball goes. Yes, would I love to have Max Fried under extension right now, but we have to respect what he wants to do as a person as well. So, and there's nothing we can do except talk about it. And the reality is what the reality is, and I don't know what else to say. On that front, I mean, we've seen guys come back from Tommy John surgery, struggle a little bit, and then come back. Who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see. But 2024 has been a grind, and it's going to still be a grind. But I'm really excited to Well, I agree. The Dodgers spending $1 billion and still having to trade for 5 or 6 people, that tells you all you need to know. And if they don't win a World Series, or like 3 in the next 7 years, then it's a complete failure, and that's not. So, and I agree. I can't stand the Dodgers. Never have, never will. Don't care that Freddie's there. They were able to swing for Jack Flaherty. But again, look, Jorge Soler fixes a lot of things on base percentage wise. His contract is creative, and it opens up a lot of avenues for us to play around next year with probably Charlie Morton coming off the books and retiring. We didn't lose Freddie. Freddie's agents screwed him over, so that's the way I look at that. I mean, I'm happy the way it's played out with Matt. Obviously, this year is excuse me. Obviously, this year has just not been the year for many, and it does. But that's the price of being a diehard sports fan. You're gonna get attached, and that's the price you pay. A good price, but a sad price, and honestly, this playoff race and everything is going to be wild because I think the Padres just play dynasty mode and don't give anything about their prospects. I don't know how they have prospects left, especially for Tanner Scott, considering he's a rental. Like, whew. I mean, yes, the Braves could have probably banked a lot if we were sellers, but we're not. So that that went out of the water. Obviously, like you said, but man, the Padres are weird. I really like what the Mariners did. I don't know if they can score enough. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the Diamondbacks. I agree. I don't know what we could have done more though. Other than like middle infield, yeah, maybe another, but you still, yeah, I agree, but I just don't, because our bullpen is really good. You added there. You definitely needed more. I mean, the middle infield is one thing, but again, maybe Whit Merrifield gets his finger glued back on and gets a chance. I just don't. Nah, the starting pitching market. Phew. The starting pitching market. I mean, the Astros gave up their 3-5 starter for or 3-5 best prospect for a guy that had a 4.43 ERA and is a free agent at the end of the year. So I think if it was just way too steep, and I think the emergence of Grant Holmes and AJ Smith-Shawver and Ian Anderson on the way, with Ronaldo being okay, with his MRI and Max Fried coming back, I get why we didn't add a start. Like, I understand I wanted to add more too, but it just, looking around the league and looking at the prices of things and the fact that there wasn't a lot of. Well, I think we have it more. There's a surplus of a lot of pitchers now. Um, but yeah, don't I don't think the return would would have equaled the price for sure. Um, and again, I know everyone jumps off a cliff and XYZ, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. I can't believe the Brewers didn't add a bat, like any type of bat, with Christian Yelich not. He's not gonna retire now. He's gonna retire at the end of the year. And Morton's been pretty solid. Like, he's had some clunkers, but he's been solid for the majority. So I and they just, Alex Anthopoulos just said that Ronald Acuna Jr. should be ready at the beginning of the season next year. So that is awesome news. Um, So, look, there's a lot of jumping off the cliff, but the reality, again, is the reality of where we are this season. So many injuries, so many underperforming, but yet we're still right there. Yeah, that's why you have guys like Ozuna and Soler in your organization to be able to combat that. And once again, that's a you never know in situations. Baseball is so weird. You don't know what's going to happen. And obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. But having Ronald back near the beginning of the season kind of will probably help him knock off the rust. And obviously, having a lot of different options will be nice to see. And again, the emergence of like Spencer Schwellenbach, Ian Anderson possibly being what he has known to be at times could really help as well. Plus, the surplus of our farm system, we're more apt to do things in the off season. Bryce Elder has struggled, and he has been a batting practice pitcher at times. But again, I don't think we're in a position. Right, like I said, tonight I think is the last time we're going to see him in a spot start situation. And 2 out of his 5 spot starts, we've had a great chance to win. And the offense didn't hold up its end of the bargain. So, yes, Bryce Elder could be a change of scenery guy, but it's not going to happen this year. Just in my opinion. But again, when Max Fried comes back, the emergence of Grant Holmes, the emergence of Ian Anderson and AJ Smith-Shawver going 80 to 85 pitches, it's probably be the last time you see Bryce Elder as a spot starter. Just my opinion there. And no, the Marlins don't have any players left, but they're winning 2-0 over the Rays. And I really think they did a fantastic job at the trade deadline. Again, it was a seller's market. Everybody took advantage of that. And I'm still shocked that the Angels didn't fully sell. And I'm kind of shocked that Grant Holmes has become a fan favorite quickly, and he's earned it by his play on the field, that's for sure. He definitely has. So there's options, but the reality is the offense has got to step up its game, and if it doesn't, then we'll see where the cards fall. But I don't think well, he wasn't stretched completely as a starter. That's why he did not go longer. And we are, again, missing a ton. And the element of speed and athleticism isn't there without Ozzie and Michael Harris II. So I think just taking the season as what it is, a grind, annoying, sad, in some cases. But you've also got stories like Spencer Schwellenbach, Marcell Ozuna, and again, like Jorge Soler, Austin Riley. Yeah, I don't think Valeriano's going to be here much longer. I think Jared Kelenic needs to snap out of something. But to have Jared Kelenic at the bottom of the order once Jorge Soler gets here tomorrow, I think that helps as well. It lengthens it, and obviously Michael Harris not coming back till August 14th, but you still got some chances there, and you just gotta kind of accept the the grossness of what this year has been, and just ride it. Whatever it is, you just do. You have to, because it is what it is. I mean, yeah, we could have pushed all in, but I don't know that this is the year that you push all in with the amount of non-sellers, and there was only like 7 sellers in the market, and they took advantage big time, and the prices were astronomically high, and sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and understand what you're looking for, the type of player that you like, and we got 2 guys that we're very familiar with that can help us now, and we'll see how the cards fall. Honestly, that's how I'm looking at the trade deadline. Yeah, would have loved to done more, but there's not that player. And a lot of times we do things in the off season to address what we need, and we will, and it's going to be an interesting off season because there's a lot of pending change, and we'll tackle that bridge we'll cross that bridge when we have to. But it is what it is, and we got 57 games to figure it out and see where the cards fall. But I'm happy to have Jorge Soler back and to have him for multiple years. That feels awesome. And Luke Jackson as well. Again, he was the first person to ever like my recap video, so I'm never going to be mad having Luke Jackson in the mix again, and still throws 96. So as always, go Braves, champions forever. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Talk to you guys on Thursday when I do a live watch. But I think I covered everything trade deadline wise in terms of the Braves and all of that.